What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City. It's Trey here with you today. I hope that you guys are having a great start to the week. Today, we are on episode number 47 of the JuiceBox, and man, that means we are counting down to episode number 50. We have something big planned for you guys when we get there. Stay tuned for that one. I imagine it's going to be a fun one, not just for us, but I think for you listeners as well. Today, we will be taking a look into the MLB slate, but before we get into that, a quick reminder that you can join Lock City's premium tier Discord at wap.com/LockCity for only $5 per month. This will get you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to premium picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of sports-specific and stat-specific data points on a daily basis that'll help you become a better sports bettor. That's wap.com/LockCity and get instant access for only 16 cents a day or $5 a month. All right. Going ahead and taking a look at yesterday's MLB slate before we get into today's, and we'll run down the scores and results there. Monday was a little bit of a smaller slate, but it started off in Boston with an early one. It was Boston Marathon Day, and they played that game at 11 o'clock. Boston wins over the White Sox 4-2. Buehler picking up his third win of the year. He's now 3-1 with a 4.23 ERA. And Joe Cannon taking his third loss of the year. He's 0-3 with a 4.81 ERA. The Yankees lose to the Guardians in Cleveland. The Yankees are now 14-9, the Guardians 13-9. Gavin Williams picking up his second win of the year, and Schmidt picking up his first loss of the year. The Padres losing to the Tigers 4-6 in Detroit. The Tigers getting that nice home win there. Vasquez taking the loss in this one, and I believe that's a pen win for the Tigers. Montero only went 4 1/3, so he does not qualify for the win. And Hannafy gets the win there out of the bullpen. Vest picks up the save in that one. The Reds lose another one. They are now 11-12. The Marlins beat them 6-3, and Meyer picking up his win. And if you didn't see how well he did yesterday, you should look this up. You will see nothing but strikeout highlights from him. He had an absolutely great 6 innings, allowing only 5 hits, but picking up 14 strikeouts. And Max Meyer, he might be maybe just having a great day, or he might be somebody to watch there as a new young right-handed arm for the Marlins. The Phillies lose to the Mets 5-4. The Mets now are 16-7. And at the top of that division, the Phillies 13-10. Trevor Meagle picking up the win there, sitting at 3-2 with a 1.09 ERA. Hard to imagine that you can have 2 losses with an ERA that good. Some unfortunate luck on his part there. Aaron Nola picking up the loss for the Phillies. Tough start for him to the year, 0-5 with a 6.43 ERA. He did okay, though, only allowing 2 runs in his time on the mound yesterday. The Braves pick up a win after putting up 5 in the 8th versus the Cardinals that they hosted in Atlanta. Top performers in this one, Austin Riley went 2 for 3 with a home run and 2 RBIs, also scoring 2 runs himself. And Schwellenbach went 7 innings, allowing only 2 earned runs, but does not pick up the win, as those runs came across the board after he left the game. That is a vulture kind of win out of the bullpen there for the Braves. Elsewhere in Houston, the Astros shut out the Blue Jays 7-0. Only 2 hits for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays now 12-11, and the Astros have made it back to 500. Hunter Brown picking up the win here, and he's now 3-1 on the year with a 1.16 ERA. And man, oh man, does he look absolutely filthy out there. Ever since he added the sinker to his arsenal, he has really just turned things around to a point where he is flat out dominant. He had 9 strikeouts in this one, and he'll be an exciting arm to watch as possibly even a Cy Young contender this year if he can keep this up. Lastly, in the West Coast, the Giants were hosting the Brewers, and they won 5-2 at home in San Francisco. Birdsong picks up the win here out of the pen, pitching 3 strong innings and striking out 4 there. Wilmer Flores having a nice game, going 2 for 3 with a home run. Patrick Bailey also having a nice game with a 2 RBI single for the Giants as well. All right, so that was our Monday slate, short and sweet. Let's go ahead and start to take a look at how Tuesday looks across the MLB. So we're going to go ahead and pull up our favorite analytics tool here, Daily Sheets. Daily Sheets offers you smarter bets every day by giving you a very open access and comprehensive analytical view of the data that you need to make decisions before you put your money on the line. You can check us out at sheet.today/MLB. This is a side project that myself and Brian from Lock City have been working really hard on. We're super proud of. And our MLB page, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. It's got everything you need and then some on there. Again, that's Daily Sheets, and you can check us out online by going to sheet.today/MLB. We have top projections in many of the major prop categories every day, cheat sheets for every game, breaking down the entire lineup, recent trends, and history of batter versus pitcher. We also have a first pitch guide, which gives you a little bit of information about first pitch, which is a market that I love and is near and dear to my heart. You can see a leaderboard there for that and get some more information on how to best bet that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at today's slate. Starting us off, 6:10 p.m. start in Cleveland. The Yankees are at the Guardians. The Yankees are small favorites here, -115 on the money line. The total in this game is set at 8. Will Warren on the mound for the Yankees. Tanner Bibby going for the Guardians. Both pitchers here struggling to start the year a little bit. Their ERAs are up in the 5 to 5.5 range, respectively. And it's going to be a matter of who can actually shut down the opposing lineup in this one. Not a lot of history between these pitchers and the lineups. Bibby has seen a few of the Yankees before, and he's given up to Volpe 3 for 6 with a home run. Cody Bellinger and Oswaldo Cabrera both have a hit against him in just 2 at-bats each. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot of history there, positive or negative. We do have some current streaks going on in this game. On the Yankees side, Paul Goldschmidt is on a 6-game hit streak. Anthony Volpe is on a 3-game hit streak. On the Guardians side, Stephen Kwan back on a nice hit streak as well. 5-game hit, 4-game total base streak there. Jose Ramirez on a 4-game hit streak. And Kyle Manzardo on a 5-game hit streak, 5-game total base, and 3-game home run streak. He's also knocked in RBIs in the last 4, and he's got that eggplant emoji because he is rocking and rolling in all of those categories. Brian Rocchio at the bottom of the order on the 2-game hit and 2-game hit and total base streak as well. The Reds head down to Miami. Marlins hosting Cincinnati. 6:40 start in this one. 8.5 is the run total. And the Reds come in as -135 road favorites. Looking at the pitching matchup here, Nick Martinez is on the mound for the Reds and Edward Cabrera on the mound for the Marlins. Cabrera has struggled mightily this year in his 2 starts, allowing a 6.52 ERA. And for the Reds, Nick Martinez is also off to a little bit of a bumpy start with an ERA up at 6 runs through his few starts to start the year. In terms of matchup history, Xavier Edwards has seen Nick Martinez 5 times and is 2 for 5. On the other side, Jeimer Candelario has gone 3 for 4 against Edward Cabrera in the limited matchup history that is there. Spencer Steer and Elly De La Cruz both have a home run off Cabrera in their 2 at-bats respectively. Looking at who's hot coming into this game, TJ Friedel, 5-game hit and total base streak. Elly De La Cruz is on a 6-game hit streak. Austin Hayes tearing it up, 7-game hit streak in his new uniform as well. Gavin Lux, 7-game hit streak. The Red Bats have been putting together runs the old-fashioned way, stringing together those hits. On the other side, Jesus Sanchez is on a 2-game hit and total base streak. Eric Wagaman is on a 9-game hit streak. Connor Norby has scored in the last 3 and stolen bases in the last 2. He's someone to keep an eye on as well. Otto Lopez on a 2-game hit streak there for the Marlins as well. 6:40 start in Detroit. The Padres are at the Tigers again tonight. The total in this game is set at 7.5. The Tigers are -115 home favorites in this one. On the mound for the Tigers, Jack Flaherty, and for the Padres, Nick Pivetta, 2 aces going in this one, and this should be a pitching matchup to really watch. Jack Flaherty has a 2.5 ERA, Nick Pivetta 1.6 ERA at this point in the year, and I expect that both of these lineups are going to be challenged by these guys on the mounds. In terms of history, Jack Flaherty has managed to shut down a good portion of the big part of the offense here for the Padres. Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, both struggling in their history against him with just 1 and 2 hits respectively. Manny Machado is only 2 for 14. If there was any bright spot in that Padres lineup to look at today, it might be Yuli Gurriel or Fernando Tatis. Nando, 2 home runs, 7 for 10 lifetime off Flaherty. He sees the ball really well, so he might be a spot to look at. He's also walked 3 times in his history versus Flaherty. On the other side, the Tigers lineup has seen Pivetta, looks like about roughly twice for most of this lineup, and about half that lineup is looking green. Torque leading the charge there, 2 for 5. Javi Baez is 3 for 9, so some good numbers here. If there was one real standout number to me, even though he's only 4 for 17, which is 235, Gleyber Torres has 2 home runs off Pivetta, and he might be somebody to keep an eye on to possibly go deep. 6:45 start in D.C. We have the Beltway series between the Orioles and the Nationals. The total in this game is set at 9, and the Orioles are minus 135 road dogs. Dean Kramer on the mound for the Birds, Mitchell Parker on the mound for the Nats, and I gotta say, this looks like a spot to probably back the Nationals. Hate to say that as an Orioles fan, but Mitchell Parker's been off to a great start this year with a 1.85 ERA, and Dean Kramer is sitting at about a 6.4. He's only had really one solid start where he's kept the Birds in the game, and then he's on the other side. Not a lot of matchup history here versus Mitchell Parker, only about 1 game for most of this lineup, but the big names that you'd expect to really see something from have offers against him. Mullins, Westberg, Mountcastle, Rutschman, all over in their 1 game versus Mitchell Parker. Gunnar Henderson might be the only bright spot here. He's 2 for 3 with a strikeout and a home run in his 1 game versus Mitchell Parker. Looking elsewhere around the league, Boston is hosting the Mariners. 6:45 start at Fenway. The total in this one is set at 9. Boston is a minus 130 home favorite. On the mound, Brayan Bello for the Red Sox. And this is, I believe, his first start on the year for them. He is looking to take on a Seattle lineup that he has had some limited matchup history with in his time in the league. He's been able to shut down Mitch Garver and Julio Rodriguez, Luke Raleigh pretty well. But he's had some trouble putting away Randy Arozarena. He's hitting 231 versus him in 13 at-bats. Cal Raleigh is 3 for 8 in 8 at-bats. And Donovan Solano is 3 for 3 lifetime against Bello. Taking a look at who's hot coming into this game, Cal Raleigh's riding a 5-game hit streak. Rowdy Tellez is on a 4-game hit, 3-game home run streak. On the other side, for the Sox, Alex Bregman's on a 2-game hit and 5-game run streak. Trevor Story's on a 3-game hit streak. And Christian Campbell is on a 3-game hit and 3-game total base streak for the Red Sox. Looking at the 7 o'clock slate, 7:10 start in Citi Field. The Mets host the Phillies. Total here in this one is set at 8. The Phillies are minus 135 favorites here over the Mets. On the mound, Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies and Griffin Canning for the Mets. Both have some mixed history versus the opposing lineups. Christopher Sanchez has seen this Mets lineup about 4 or 5 times. Francisco Lindor is 4 for 12. Brandon Nimmo, 5 for 16. Starling Marte, 4 for 13 with a homer. And Juan Soto, 2 for 7. But he does have 4 strikeouts. A lot of big strikeout numbers in the history column here for Christopher Sanchez. This could definitely be a spot to look at for his strikeouts. On the other side, Griff Cannon has only had a very limited number of appearances versus this Phillies lineup. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Alex Boehm, Castellanos, and Kepler all having a hit in their 1 game versus Canning on the other side. In terms of streaks, Alex Boehm for the Phillies, he's on an 8-game hit and total base streak. Bryson Stott also on an 8-game hit streak. For the Mets, Lindor's on a 2-game everything streak. Hits, runs, home runs, RBIs, total bases, you name it. He's been doing it red hot lately. Pete Alonso's on a 4-game hit streak, seeing the ball well still. And at the bottom of the lineup, some quiet production out of Jose Acuna and Tyrone Taylor. Acuna on a 9-game hit and total base streak, and Tyrone Taylor on a 5-game hit and total base streak. The Cardinals are at the Braves. The Braves are minus 135 home favorites, and the total is set at 8.5 in this one. Andre Palente on the mound for the Cardinals, and to be determined still for the Braves. Braves lineup has faced Palente one time and had some good success. Austin Riley leading the way. He was a perfect 3 for 3 with a homer versus Palente last time. Matt Olson 2 for 3. Verdugo, Fairchild, Ozuna all picking up a hit. Michael Harris has seen him twice and is 2 for 5. In terms of hot streaks to keep an eye on in this one, Wilson Contreras riding a 4-game hit streak for the Cardinals. On the Braves side, Ozuna's riding a 3-game hit and total base streak. Matt Olson's on a 6-game hit streak, RBIs in his last 3. Michael Harris is on a 4-game hit and total base streak. Later in the evening, 7:40 start in Kansas City. The Royals hosting the Rockies. The Royals heavy favorites in this one, minus 218 on the money line, and the total here is set at 8.5. On the mound, Ryan Feltner going for the Rockies, and Chris Bubic, the lefty for the Royals. Bubic's been off to a great start, the 1.88 ERA, and this is definitely a spot to back the Royals. On the other side, Feltner has been out a few times, and he's given up the runs, 4.82 ERA, which is kind of what you'd expect for a pitcher from Colorado. Hot streaks to keep an eye on in this one. Hunter Goodman for the Rockies is on a 6-game hit and total base streak. On the Royals side, not a lot of active streaks going on, but we did have some guys do some damage in the lineup yesterday. Bobby Witt, Pasquantino, Garcia, and Waters all contributing to the offense in their last game. The Cubs host the Dodgers at Wrigley, 7:40 start. The Dodgers are minus 122 road favorites in this one. The total in this game is set at 8. Dustin May on the mound for the Dodgers versus Shota Umanga for the Cubs. Righty versus lefty matchup there. Dustin May has had a great start to the year. The redhead is sitting with a 1.06 ERA, and for Shota Umanga, he is sitting at a 2.22 ERA. The stats for both of these guys are both somewhat favorable in their limited history. Dustin May has shut down Swanson, Happ, Tucker, and Suzuki in previous appearances, but he has allowed a few hits to Horner, Carson Kelly, and John Birdie. On the other side, Shota Umanga has been hit and taken deep by Tommy Edman and Max Muncy. Edman with 2 home runs and Muncy with 1 home run in their limited appearances versus Shota. But he has managed to shut down a good portion of this Dodgers lineup. Freddie Freeman, 1 for 5. Miguel Rojas, 1 for 5. Enrique Hernandez, 1 for 6. Will Smith, 0 for 3. Mookie Betts, 0 for 5. Conforto, 0 for 2. And Shohei Ohtani, 0 for 7 with just 1 strikeout in his short career in the MLB versus Shota Umanga. White Sox are at the Twins, 7:40 start at Target Field. The total in this one is set at 8.5, and the Twins are minus 250 home favorites to the Sox. On the mound, Davis Martin for the White Sox and Bailey Ober for the Twins. Bailey Ober has had a somewhat rough start to the year. We faded him last time through the rotation, and he really showed up. So versus the White Sox, this is probably a spot to actually not fade Bailey Ober, and I imagine he'll be getting things right here for the Twins. Later in the night, 8:10 start in Houston. The Blue Jays are at the Astros. The Astros are short favorites here, minus 112, and total is set at 8. The Astros did shut out the Blue Jays yesterday. Chris Bassett on the mound for the Blue Jays, Ronel Blanco for the Astros, and it looks like maybe the pitching matchup favors the Blue Jays in this one. Bassett, 0.77 ERA and a K per 9 of 12. He's been off to a fantastic start to the year. Ronel Blanco, on the other hand, 6.5 ERA. Looking at who's hot in this game, a lot of cold bats for the Blue Jays, but on the Astros side, we got some hit streaks going on. Altuve's on a 2-game hit streak, Jeremy Pena on a 12-game hit and 12-game total base streak, and Cam Smith is on a 4-game hit and total base streak. The Pirates are at the Angels in LA, 9:38 start at Angel Stadium. The total on this one set at 8.5. The Angels are minus 192 favorites. On the mound in this game, we have Bailey Falter for the Pirates and Jose Soriano for the Angels. Falter has given up a bunch of runs, but he was really impressive last time around in his start versus the Nats, allowing just 2 hits in 7 innings, striking out 2 and only walking 1. He'll be looking to keep those runners off the bases again tonight versus this Angels lineup. On the other side, Jose Soriano has been off to a pretty decent start, something that you can definitely get behind as an Angels player. If you're averaging an ERA of 3.16, all you got to do is put a few runs up on the board for your guy, and you're in good shape to win. Looking at who's hot, Adam Frazier riding a 5-game hit and total base streak. Isaac kind of Falefa on a 4-game hit and total base streak for the Pirates. On the Angels side, Logan O'Hoppe, 2-game hit and total base streak. Jorge Soler on a 2-game hit streak, and Mike Trout has scored in the last 2. The D-backs host the Rays, minus 162 favorites for the D-backs at home, and the total in this game is set at 9. Zach Littell is on the mound for the Rays, and Brandon Pfaadt on the mound for the D-backs. Limited matchup history in this one, so let's take a look at who's hot and who's not. On the Rays side, not a lot of active hit streaks right now. Jake Mangum has continued his pretty hot start to the year. He is currently on a 2-game hit streak. On the D-backs side, a lot of guys who are contributing to that offense in their last game, but their streaks have broken. Lourdes Gurriel is still riding a 2-game hit streak, and Tim Tawa is on a 5-game run streak. Kind of sneaky there towards the bottom of the lineup. The Brewers are at the Giants, 9:45 start in San Francisco, and the total in this one's set at 7.5. The Giants are minus 135 favorites. Jordan Hicks on the mound for the Giants, and Jose Quintana on the mound for the Brewers. Limited history here versus both pitchers. Quintana has seen Willy Adames, though, 17 times, and Willy Adames is 6 for 17 with a home run lifetime against Quintana. He's also shut down Wilmer Flores and Matt Chapman, 2 for 10 and 1 for 10 respectively there. On the other side, Jordan Hicks has only seen a few of these Brewers hitters before. Christian Yelich is 2 for 5. Garrett Mitchell is 1 for 2. Rhys Hoskins 1 for 7. And William Contreras hitless versus Hicks. Looking at who's hot on the Brewer side, Christian Yelich has 2 hits and stolen bases in the last 2 games. Sal Frelick has had a hit and covered his total bases in the last 6. On the Giants side, Helio Ramos has scored in the last 2. And Tyler Fitzgerald at the bottom of the lineup has scored in the last 2, as well as gotten hits and covered his total bases. The last game of the night, 10:05 start in Sacramento. The Athletics hosting the Rangers in this one. The Athletics are minus 142 favorites, and the total in this game is set at 10. We have seen that total drift up here in Sacramento, and I imagine that most games it will be sitting at 10, especially when there is a potent offense visiting town. On the mound of this one, we have Patrick Corbin going for the Rangers and Osvaldo Bido going for the Athletics. Last time around, we faded Patrick Corbin. He got bit by a spider pregame and turned into Patrick Cy Corbin and pitched his butt off. So, man, are fading Patrick Corbin days over now that he has superpowers from that spider bite? I don't know. Osvaldo Bido has been off to a good start, though, with the A's. He's averaging a 2.61 ERA and has definitely been a bright spot in their rotation. Limited matchup history on the Rangers side with Bido, but a few of these Oakland hitters have seen Patrick Corbin before. Luis Urias is 4 for 11 with a homer. Michael Andujar and Gio Urshela have both struggled in their games against Corbin, respectively. And that's it for our MLB slate here on Tuesday, April 22nd. It also brings us to the best part of the pod, where we get to break down our JuiceBox Lock of the day. JuiceBox Locks have been red hot in April. We're 16-9 and up 23.5 units for a $100 better. That's over $2,300 that you are up if you have been following along with us every single day. Claw got us a couple winners over the Easter weekend, and we look to keep that going here today. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Royals and the Rockies game. Chris Bubik on the mound there for the Royals. He's been lights out, and I expect him to be able to continue looking good against this Rockies lineup, which has just struggled offensively in the last 2 weeks. So here's our JuiceBox Lock of the day. Chris Bubik to record the win for the Royals. Plus 110 available across multiple books. Let's go ahead and lock that in and hopefully keep our winning ways going here on the pod. Hopefully you guys are ready to have a great Tuesday. MLB looks like a great set of matchups. Hope this helped you break it down. This is Trey signing off. Peace.